The film opens with Simba and Nala ruling the Pride lands. They have a daughter, Kiara, and are expecting another cub. As Nala prepares to give birth, Simba takes her to an oasis, leaving Kiara in the care of Timon and Pamba. Rafiki soon arrives and decides to tell Kiara the true story of her grandfather Mufasa and his treacherous younger brother, Scar. The story begins with Mufasa and his parents, Masego and Afia, searching for the legendary land of Milele. However, tragedy strikes when a flood sweeps young Mufasa away, separating him from his family. He ends up in a wetland, where he encounters a royal cub named Taka, who will later become Scar. As they try to navigate their surroundings, young crocodiles attack them, but Taka's mother, Queen Ashe, intervenes. Though she is reluctant to accept Mufasa, she ultimately allows him to stay, while King Obasi disapproves of his son's new companion. When Obasi harshly criticizes Taka for his weakness, Mufasa challenges him to a race to prove his worth. Although Mufasa loses, Taka is impressed by his determination and fully welcomes him into the Pride. As the two cubs grow, they develop a strong brotherly bond. Queen Ashe teaches Mufasa how to hunt, but during a lesson, two white lions attack them. Mufasa bravely kills one of the attackers, while the other flees to inform Kiros, the leader of the Outsiders, a group of lions outcast for their white fur. Kiros, enraged by the death of his son, swears vengeance on Mufasa and his pride. Soon after, the Outsiders launch a brutal attack, slaughtering Obasi, Ashe, and the rest of the Pride. Mufasa and Taka barely escape by throwing themselves into a river, washing up in an unfamiliar land. Wandering through the wilderness, they encounter a lone lioness named Sarabi, along with her hornbill scout Zazu and a young Rafiki. Rafiki tells them about Milele, believing that a vision has led him to Mufasa, whom he refers to as a brother. They decide to follow Rafiki on his journey, but danger looms as Kiros and the Outsiders continue their pursuit. Along the way, Taka develops romantic feelings for Sarabi, but she begins to grow closer to Mufasa instead. In a desperate attempt to escape the Outsiders, Sarabi cleverly causes an elephant stampede to distract their pursuers. However, she is knocked unconscious while executing the plan. Mufasa saves her, but he lies and tells her that Taka was the one who rescued her, hoping to boost his brother's confidence. The group then takes refuge in a snowy mountain range. Sarabi later confesses to Mufasa that she knows the truth, and their growing affection turns into love. A jealous Taka watches them from a distance, feeling increasingly alienated. Overwhelmed by envy and a sense of insignificance, Taka secretly meets with Kiros, striking a deal. He will lead Mufasa into an ambush in exchange for joining the Outsiders. The next day, the group finally reaches Milele, a breathtaking paradise. Unaware of Taka's betrayal, Mufasa embraces the new land, while Taka subtly marks their path for the Outsiders to follow. Rafiki finds the tree from his vision, solidifying Mufasa's role in the prophecy, just before the Outsiders launch their attack. A ferocious battle erupts between the Outsiders and the animals of Milele. Mufasa fights valiantly, but he is devastated when he learns that Taka was the one who led their enemies to them. Despite his exhaustion, Mufasa continues to fight Kiros, who eventually corners him in a cave. As Kiros prepares to kill Mufasa, Taka, now fully realizing the weight of his betrayal, intervenes. In the scuffle, Kiros slashes Taka's face, leaving him with the scar that will define him forever. Suddenly, an earthquake shakes the land, causing a cave collapse. Two Outsiders, Akuya and Amara, attempt to kill Sarabi, but they are crushed under the falling rocks. Meanwhile, Kiros and Mufasa fall into an underground lake. Kiros tries to drown Mufasa, but a falling rock lands on him, sending him plummeting to his death. Mufasa struggles to escape the water, but in a final act of redemption, Taka saves him. As the floodwaters recede, Mufasa and Sarabi emerge victorious, greeted by the animals who now recognize Mufasa as their leader. They declare him king of Milele, marking the beginning of his reign. Mufasa is then reunited with his mother, Afia, who reveals that his father, Masego, did not survive the flood. Mufasa then turns to Taka, addressing the betrayal. Although he acknowledges his brother's remorse, he refuses to refer to him as Taka anymore. In response, Taka renames himself Scar, symbolizing both his physical wound and the consequences of his choices. As Mufasa ascends the peak of what will become Pride Rock, he lets out a triumphant roar, while Scar watches from the shadows, knowing he can never return to the life he once had. Back in the present, Kiara stands atop Pride Rock, roaring as the spirit of Mufasa watches over her. She and her friends then reunite with Simba to meet her newly born sibling. As the sun rises over the Pride lands, Kiara looks at the newborn cub and promises to tell them the story of Mufasa, ensuring that his legacy lives on.